So Avengers Endgame came out a few days ago. It came out on the Thursday. I saw it the day it was released. Today is the Monday, so it's not perfectly fresh in my head, but I still remember most of the stuff that happened. Um, I just wanted to give my review on it, what I thought about all of it, because I've been following the MCU. And yeah, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled, obviously don't watch this video. But if you have, or you don't mind getting it spoiled, then this is my review. So the movie starts out with Hawkeye and his family. He's teaching his daughter archery. They're having lunch at their little home. And in this scene, all of his family gets dusted, which we pretty much, if you were following the MCU, you knew was going to happen because you knew Hawkeye was going to become Ronin, and he can't become Ronin unless his family dies. So we knew it was going to happen, but this scene, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really emotive. So when I was in the cinema, I remember thinking, like, this is going to be a good movie. I know it's, like, early to think that, but I just remember thinking, like, this is a very good start. From then, it goes on to, I think, Tony Stark and Nebula playing a little game on the, I think it's the Benatar. So yeah, they're doing that, and Captain Marvel comes and saves Tony from that and brings him back down to Earth, which I thought was a bit anticlimactic, but I wasn't really that bothered because we all knew that he was going to survive from that in the end, because we knew that he wasn't going to die straight off the bat. But still, it could have been done potentially a bit better, just because it was the first trailer that it was shown, so it could have been made a bit of a bigger thing about it, but I was fine with it, personally. From then, it's the whole team seeing that Thanos used the stones again on a different planet. And it's all very gung-ho from here. They all decide to just go onto his planet and kill him. Or at least try to. And then, of course, they're all in Rocket's ship. They all go over to his garden, where he's just been resting for however long it's been. And pretty much, they come down, cut off his arm straight away, which they should have done in the first movie, but oh well, they wanted a second movie out of it. So they disable him completely, but then find out that the stones have been destroyed. He used the stones to destroy the stones. And from there, Thor pretty much just kills him. He just cuts off his head, which I personally felt in this movie was the wrong move, because what happens later on, it all feels very unconnected or disconnected to the characters themselves, because the villain that they've been fighting throughout all of Infinity War is now dead. He's been made redundant. So there's it's not as personal, or not personal. It's not as connected as I would have liked. So at this point, I was sort of a bit iffy on how the rest of the movie was going to be, but then it shows up. It's 5 years later. And I remember thinking, okay, this can be good. This is a good plot point, because it was all very rushed for the first 10 minutes. So from here, 5 years on, you see Cap is doing a support group with Joe Russo. Is a little cameo in there as the first openly gay character in the MCU. And it just shows how everybody is moved on pretty much from the events of the snap, or trying to. Natasha Romanoff has a new job with Rocket and Okoye. They're all just protecting the Earth, and she's sort of a secretary pretty much. There's also from there, it's the next major thing that happens is Scott Lang, Ant-Man, is retrieved from the quantum realm because a rat pushed a few buttons, I think it was, in his van, and he's woken up. He's in his van, in some storage containment or whatever, and he has been in there for 5 years, but to him it's felt like 5 hours, because time works differently in the quantum realm, which is all we hear about it for now. So he goes to Captain America and Black Widow, and says, I've just been in the quantum realm for 5 years, but it only felt like 5 hours. And they realise that there may be a way for them to go back in time to get the Infinity Stones again and reverse everything. Which, of course, they'll need someone intelligent, so they go to Tony Stark straight away. And at this point, you see that Tony, while everyone else has been grieving and trying to move on, has taken the opportunity to start a family. So it's him and Pepper Potts, and he's got a daughter, Morgan, and he pretty much straight up declines. He says, no, like, this is my life now, I can't lose this, and just forgets about the whole thing. And so they realise that he's a no-go, so they go to someone else who's almost as intelligent in the MCU. They go to Bruce Banner, but at this point you find out this is the first time we meet Professor Hulk. So you see Professor Hulk, and he's like really famous and everything, and they're telling him about it, and he says, okay, yeah, I'll help. And the whole thing of Professor Hulk is one of the main things I wanted to talk about, in that I personally don't think that Professor Hulk was a good idea from Marvel. I know that it's not the worst idea. It's like, it could have been done better, but I personally still think it was quite a wrong move by them to do that. My reason for this is that I have two reasons for this. Reason number one is, throughout the entirety of Infinity War, apart from at the very start, there's a whole thing about how Hulk won't become Hulk, pretty much. And there's all these theories and stuff that people have come up with about why he wouldn't become Hulk and how it's going to happen in Endgame. And sort of, because it's the conclusion of the movies, you want there to be a reason for it, and you want there to be a big scene at the end or something where he hulks out and he just, like, it is a massive, just destroying machine, pretty much. But you don't get that because it's Professor Hulk now, and there's sort of very little explanation. The other main reason that I'm a bit annoyed about this decision is because Professor Hulk isn't a superhero. He's big, but he can't fight. If they were put into a fight scene or anything, he wouldn't be able to compete, really, because there's a scene later about when he's told to smash to look like the other Hulk, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't know how to do it, because it's a different thing. And although he is intelligent, he's not like Tony Stark intelligent. So on the team, he's made a bit redundant almost, and you could almost take him out of the entire movie and not make a difference. But he agrees to help, and he goes to help them try and fix the quantum realm problem or whatever, to try and travel back. This then goes back to Tony, who is just in his home forgetting about the whole thing, and he's just tinkering because he's a tinkerer or whatever. So he just tells Friday to run a simulation or whatever, with a few little schematics that he just thinks up on the spot. And he's fully expecting it not to work. And surprisingly, it works. So he knows that there is a way for them to pretty much get back everyone who died in the snap, but he is really hesitant because he loves his new family that he's made, and he can't lose that. That's his top priority. But eventually, after a few fails, with Professor Hulk trying to solve the problem, Tony Stark comes and he says, I fixed the problem, but my top priority is my family that I have now. And so, because now we know that it's solvable, they try and get the team back together, pretty much. They try and get everyone they can to come and help travel back in time and get the Infinity Stones, because they can't kill baby Thanos, Apparently, because the way time works in the MCU is the way they phrased it is when you go to the past, your present then becomes your past, so that cannot be changed. Which is it's a bit weird, but pretty much they can't kill baby Thanos.